Welcome back to another episode of Black Girl Confessions. This is the podcast where we say the quiet things out loud. And this episode is for the girls who've looked at themselves, who've looked into the mirror, who've said to themselves, you know what, I need to lose 10 pounds. I need to lose a couple of kilos. I need to lose X, Y, and Z in order to feel good again, to feel pretty again, to feel whole again. This episode's for you. And we're going to talk about your self-worth, your self-concept, your body image, all of the good stuff, everything that we've been told, we've been spoon-fed, that's been sold to us. We're discussing all of it. I thoroughly enjoyed creating this episode, talking about all of the things that I feel like we've been spoon-fed, this whole narrative that we've been spoon-fed from a very young age. And I feel like these are taboo topics that I feel like a lot of women don't necessarily talk about, that I feel like we need to discuss. I don't know how many times I can say I feel like, because stop feeling, bitch. But I feel like, here we go again, that we need to talk about these things. We need to discuss them. We need to dissect them. We need to understand why we feel the way we feel, why we have been fed what we've been fed, and why we move the way we move. I think that's incredibly important, right? So we're going to be talking about your self-worth, your self-concept. We're talking about body image, everything that's been sold back to us by our mothers, by media, by social media, by our grandmothers and their grandmothers, right? I feel like all of these things that we're going to dissect in this episode predates us. It's not our fault. It's not our mother's fault. They have been fed the exact same story that they're now feeding us, whether they know it, whether they're aware of it or not, doesn't matter, because we are breaking those stereotypes and we are breaking those taboos in Black Girl Confessions. It ends with us. We're putting an end to this disastrous cycle. Here we go. Don't get me wrong, we've all been there, right? I personally myself have been there. I felt like, oh, if I lose 10 more pounds, if I lose a couple of more kilos, if I just cinch my waist, if I just lose my double chin or have a more prominent jawline, or just lose my belly fat, or my ass is a bit smaller, or my legs a bit thinner and longer, and whatever else you want it to be. We've all been there where we feel like if we just tweak, amend this tiny little area in ourselves, in our bodies, we're going to feel better. We're going to feel like we're worth a lot more. We're going to feel like we're a lot prettier. The clothes are going to fit us better. The boys are going to find us more attractive. But these little tiny, I can't even call them mistakes, these tiny little, things that we want to change about ourselves is what makes us us. That tiny bit of belly fat you have, honey, it's keeping you warm. It's keeping your organs safe. It's like a nice little padded cell for your uterus. Why do you want to get rid of it? The cellulites that you have just shows that you've been growing. You've been growing stronger. You've been growing bigger. And what a blessing it is to grow bigger and stronger. What a blessing it is to eat and have food on the table and have the ability to grow. What a blessing it is to age. Right? But we want to change all of these things. So we want to dye our grey hair. We want to get rid of these wrinkles. We want to get rid of, your toes, your forehead, your thinning hair. All of these things are just signs of you being alive, of you living in this world, you going through the motions, you feeling all of these emotions, your smile lines, right? Why would you want to get rid of them? Why would you want to erase what's once brought you so much joy? The reason why we have these smile lines is because we've been laughing so much. What a fucking privilege. What a privilege to be in a position where you can laugh all day long. I'm sorry, I'd rather kiki and hee all day long than be miserable and not have a life where I feel like I can laugh. Isn't that a given? Isn't that like a given? Like, I don't quite understand. But this episode is for the girls who've always wanted to change little things, to tweak little things, because they feel like once they have done so, their self-worth increases. They're going to be more desirable. They're going to feel like they fit in more. This episode's for you, because what we're going to break down is why we feel that way, who told us to feel that way, and what we can do to change that. And don't get me wrong, I have been in that position too. I genuinely have been in that position. I have fallen victim and fallen for the exact same trappings that girls fall for every single day worldwide. Somewhere between Barbie dolls and baby Annabelle, shout out if you remember baby Annabelle. I've always wanted baby Annabelle. Don't think I ever got it. Cannot think for the life of me that I've ever gotten baby Annabelle. I've had plenty of Barbies, I do remember that. Baby Annabelle though, never had one, always wanted one. If I get one today, I think I might cry with joy. But somewhere between Barbies and baby Annabelles, and then your Victoria's Secret runway, these magazine covers, all of these pretty models you see, somewhere in between both of those, we have lost the idea of what it is to be confident within your own body, to be happy within your own body, right? And I'm starting with Barbies because I feel like that's the youngest sort of memory I have of looking at a doll thinking, wow, she's so skinny, she's so pretty, and I want to look just like her. I feel like that's how early it starts. That's how early this indoctrination begins with us young girls. And that's how early they spoon fed us these narratives of what we need to look like in order to feel pretty, in order to feel worth it, in order to feel like, yes, I am desirable. Isn't that scary? That like a 3-year-old playing with a Barbie doll is already thinking, I wish I had long legs like this. I wish I had blonde hair like this. Me, who doesn't look like the Barbie dolls I've played with at all, would look at these Barbie dolls and say, wow, she's so pretty. She's got white skin. She's got blue eyes. She's got blonde hair. I want to look like that. I want to be pretty like that. That doesn't take away from how pretty and hot I am now. It absolutely does not. But it just feeds you these tiny subliminal messages from a really young age that if you don't look like that, you're not good enough. And if you don't look like that, you need to do everything within your power to look like that, right? Because if you're not genetically blessed to be skinny and model-esque, then you better try. You better starve yourself. You better stop eating and try. Let's start at the beginning. What is self-concept, right? When I hear the word self-concept, I think of therapy, you know, those fancy schmancy snoozy words that people that go to therapy use. But self-concept is actually a very, very easy thing to know. It's a very easy thing to remember. Self-concept is actually how you move through the world. It is the very core, it's the foundation of your being, right? And self-concept essentially is the story that you tell yourself about yourself. So it's basically who you are and how you view yourself and what you tell others that you are. And the kicker is, we don't actually create these stories at first. At first, when we're young, we don't know anything about ourselves. You get told who you are. You get spoon-fed who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be this, I don't know, beautiful, young, skinny, glowing little girl, the quiet girl, the shy girl, the girl that's not supposed to be seen or heard, the one that's in the background to make space for all the little boys, right? Because the boys are supposed to be big and loud and masculine and strong and be the heroes. And women are supposed to be like, ow, I'm not supposed to talk. I'm supposed to be in the background. You're not supposed to hear me or see me. That's what women are supposed to be. And I think the good thing to realize now is that for so many of us, the stories of us, our self-concept at the very beginning, we're not in charge of it. We didn't create those. We didn't come up with this idea of who we are. It's our mothers. It's the TV that we're watching. It's the Barbie dolls that we're playing with, right? And you can't fault our mothers for raising us. You cannot fault your mother, or I can't fault my mother for raising me how she raised me, right? Because she was raised in a certain way and your mothers were raised in a certain way. So they're only passing down this baton in a way that they know how, because that's how they were raised. They've been given a formula, and that's the same formula they've then used to raise us. And I think now we're in a generation where if we're not happy with that, if we're not satisfied with that, you can move on. You can change the formula. And when I say you can move on, I mean you can move on in the sense of you can break the cycle. You can say, this ends with me. I've endured this. If you've endured something that wasn't so pleasant, right? Don't get me wrong. Don't want to sit here and say I've endured X, Y, and Z, because personally I haven't endured anything. But if you've endured a childhood that you're not happy with and it's given you baggage later on in life and it's really warped your sense of self-concept, then it should end with you, right? If you are looking to have babies in the future, if you are looking to have children in the future, then you can say, this ends with me. I am raising my kids in a much better way, in a different way, in a way where their self-concept is genuinely based on who they are, not who I want them to be, or not who I want them to be for society, or for men, or for boys. The sad thing is that we have now grown up to believe, and this is for everybody across the board, right? Our families, the media, the fairy tale stories that we've been read to as kids, right? Makes you believe that being beautiful equals to being valued, right? You only have a value as a woman if you've been chosen by a man, right? That's when you've kind of fulfilled this prophecy that's been destined for you. You're only valuable if you're beautiful. If you're not beautiful, if you're not skinny, you're not valuable. You will only be loved if you're chosen. If you haven't been chosen, then you will not be loved. What a crazy concept. Who tells a child that the only way that they'll be loved is if they're chosen? What does that do to a woman growing up? It makes you want to be picked over and over and over again. And there's an epidemic of women that are pick me all over the world, right? That are like, pick me, choose me, love me. How about you love yourself? How about you choose yourself? How about you value yourself? Then let others value you. Because how can somebody love you through and through if you don't love yourself? How can somebody see your value if you don't see your own value? How can somebody choose you if you don't actively choose yourself? And I think that is such a mind-blowing concept, that you only feel like you can be loved if somebody's chosen to love you. Are you dead? Like, is there no life in your body? Can you not choose yourself? That concept doesn't sit well with me. And I'm so lucky to have been raised in a home where your value, your independence, and the beauty standards weren't something that was like enforced on us. My mum made us realize from a very early age that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are smart, and you're independent. Everything that a man can give you, you can give yourself. So when it comes to choosing a partner, when it comes to picking somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you have not chosen him based on the safety he can provide you. You've not chosen him based on the money that he brings to the table or on what he can give you, because everything he can give you, you can give yourself. The only thing that he brings to the table is additional love, right? The only thing he brings to the table is the fact that he wants to love you as well as you love yourself, and as well as he loves himself. I feel like those are the healthiest relationships, when you love yourself, the other person, your significant partner, significant other, they love themselves, and then you love each other as well. So you don't fill his cup and he doesn't fill your cup, and you don't depend on each other. You're both independent and you've chosen to come together to love each other. None of the I need you and you need me. You need to be able to be independent, to be self-sufficient and stand alone. If this man decides to walk away tomorrow, what are you going to do? Cry? No. You pick yourself up, because why? You're an independent woman. Let's rewind back to Barbie, right? Because I feel like she genuinely was the template of how women see each other from a very, very early age, right? This whole idea of your self-worth and your self-concept, I genuinely believe it starts from a very young age. And I feel like Barbie is such a template. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Barbie. I love Barbie. I still love Barbie to this day. But I think the messaging behind Barbie has changed now, don't get me wrong, because it's so much more diverse. And you see Barbie in many different professions, right? Barbie is no longer just the accessory for Ken. She's a whole individual. She can be a scientist, she can be an astronaut, she can be a businesswoman, she can be a stay-at-home mom, because that's a vocation as well, right? She can be a teacher, she can be whatever she wants to be. And now you have so many different Barbies in so many different shades. And that wasn't the case in 1996 when I was fresh out of my mom's womb, right? That wasn't a thing. So the template, the thing that Barbie represents at such a young age, I feel like is so important, because you see this beautiful statuesque Barbie doll, beautiful long blonde hair, fair skin, button nose, long legs, and you're just thinking to yourself, wow, I want to be just like her when I grow up. But the sad reality for a lot of kids is that you can't be like her when you grow up, because if you're like me, a little black girl that's born, I will never look like her. Like, that's not possible. It's impossible for me to look like Barbie. Why? Barbie's white, I am black. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not as beautiful as Barbie was growing up. That's not the point. But the point is, it already makes you feel like there's a lack of beauty there, because you don't look like this thing that you admire and love so much, because you don't look like her. Automatically, as a little girl, I'm thinking, oh, but I can't be as beautiful as Barbie because I don't look like Barbie. And I will never look like Barbie. Does that mean I'm never going to be beautiful? And that's something that you sit with, and that sort of festers and grows within you. And then you start to apply that to everything in life. Later on, you go to school, you see all of these beautiful girls with beautiful long hair out, and I'm wearing the hijab, and you think to yourself, oh, am I not pretty because my hair's not out? Am I not pretty because all of these boys are not fawning over me, but they're fawning over all of my friends that have all of their hair out? Like, does that mean I'm less desirable because I'm not being chosen, right? And that's these tiny little messaging. It's like a sleeper agent in your mind, and it gets activated when you get to a certain age, and you're like, oh my God, maybe I'm not desirable because I'm not being chosen. And it's something that you have to actively fight. Just because they didn't pick me doesn't mean I'm not going to get picked, right? It's not like I'm struggling for love now, but that's not something I knew when I was growing up. That's not something I was aware of when I just started to wear the hijab. And you already feel awkward because you already look so different, and you already feel like you are this person that is different to everybody else. You're the odd one out. And I think that is such a a feeling that makes you so lonely, and it can exclude you in so many different ways. And the funny thing is, if you don't look like Barbie, you're told to try to be as pretty as Barbie. If you don't fit the standard of the prettiness, of the beauty that they've set for you, well, you have to try. But then if you look different, you're exotic, you're bold. If you've got a different beauty standard for yourself, it's brave, right? And I fall victim of that myself. I used to see people with like colorful hair and think, wow, they are brave for doing that. Why? Because it's out of the norm, because it's out of the standard that I have, say, basically brainwashed myself into thinking is the beauty standard. I saw somebody with purple hair, with skittle hair, and said to myself, that's a bold choice. But really what I'm saying is, oh, what are they doing? That's not the standard of what hair should look like. That's not a natural color for hair. Why am I thinking that? Because that's just what you've been fed, because that's what you think should be the case. But no, actually, props to them for having skittle hair, because they want to be who they want to be. They're brave and bold enough to decide that I want skittle hair and I'm going to be beautiful no matter what. So you're going to deal with it. And guess what? I am going to deal with it. I'm going to look at your skittle hair and think to myself, damn, you go, girl. You rock that shit. Well done. Could never be me, but well done for you. Once we're over Barbie, once we've matured and we're older and we're no longer playing with dolls and we're in high school or we're in college, we're in university and we're a young adult, here comes the cover magazines, right? Here comes Cosmos telling you about the latest diet to get your summer body right in shape, right? Here comes Victoria's Secret runway, where you've got all of these gorgeous, beautiful models. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the models, because they are gorgeous and that's their body and they've been blessed, they've been gifted by God, right? And I'm not knocking them, because go, yay you, because I wish that was me. But here comes all of these unattainable beauty standards that are forced down your throat, that make you feel less than, that suddenly make you realize I could never be a Victoria's Secret runway model. I could personally, could never be a Victoria's Secret runway model. It's not in my future. It's not in the way I'm built. It's not for me. And I'm okay with that. But it took me a while to get there, because I'm thinking to myself, why can't that be me, right? Then you have all of these magazines with like models on the cover. So you've got Cosmos, you've got People, you've got all of these other tabloids that are telling you you need the latest diet, you need the latest regime, you need the latest workout. Why do you need that? To have a summer body, to get your summer body ready so you can parade your body. But if you don't have the body that they are advertising, what does that do to you? How does that make you feel? You feel less than, right? So you're consuming all of these media, you're consuming all of these trends, you're consuming all of this information that keeps telling you you are supposed to look like that, you are supposed to be built like that. And it just chips away at your self-worth. It just chips away at this concept of who you are and who you're supposed to be. And that's the scary part, because it starts from so young. And just when you think, oh, I can finally be in charge of who I'm supposed to be, I can finally be in charge of how I want to look and my own brain and my own way of thinking. Nope. Here comes social media. Here comes Ozempic. Here comes Victoria's Secret runway. Here comes, I don't know, the latest diet. Here comes the latest summer body that you need to look like. And how much do trends change, right? You've seen it where we've gone from heroin chic, where you're incredibly skinny, to very, very curvy in the BBL. So if I'm finally heroin chic and we're now in mid 2010s, we're in 2015 and the BBL has finally come into season and people are getting butts and boobs bigger than you can imagine, what does that do for somebody that's incredibly skinny? What does that do for the girl that's finally lost all of that weight? And then once you do have that huge bum and massive boobs and you've got the BBL body, and now we're back to heroin chic, right? We're in the age of Ozempic. We're now doing heroin. We're not doing heroin, don't get me wrong. Do not do heroin. But now we're in the age where heroin chic is back, because trends, they come full circle. What am I going to do with my artificial bum? Because I worked hard and had to spend a lot of money on getting a fake bum, and now suddenly being skinny is in again. What does that tell? What does that tell women? That you can never truly be in charge of your own body, because media will tell us every now and again, every couple of years, what your body should look like. And then you'll have all of these influencers who either say that they've worked incredibly hard to become skinny and have done Ozempic and are literally selling you lies, or they'll say, I've worked incredibly hard and I've worked on my glutes and I've done bum workouts and have had a BBL and have a huge bum and saying, this is what I've done and this is how I've worked out. So you'll always have people telling you what you need to look like, what you need to do with your body, and you'll never truly be satisfied. I think it's hilarious, right? Because you'll have these influencers that will tell you my body is natural, but really it costs them 6 figures. They'll tell you my bum is natural, but really it cost her 6 figures. She'll tell you these abs are natural, but really she shot up on Ozempic. Right? She'll tell you, oh, my face is skinny like this naturally, but really it's Photoshop. So there's really no winning. There's actually no winning. And you have to just really stop listening to all of this social media nonsense and tell yourself, what do I want to look like? What do I want to do? And how do I want to look? Because your self-concept, your self-worth cannot be tied to what somebody else thinks of you. We absolutely cannot live like that. And I think it's so scary to think that people are procreating and there's going to be more young girls out in this world that are going to be looking at that. And you can see this already happening on TikTok, for example, where you see 11-year-olds with like a 10-step skincare routine, fancier than mine, using retinol. I don't use retinol. I'm 30, I don't use retinol. What is going on? But you're using retinol, you've got a 10-step skincare routine. For what? You still have baby skin. You still have baby skin and you're ruining it with chemicals. Why? Because TikTok is telling you, buy this, buy these eye patches, buy this retinol, buy this face mask. You want to reverse age your skin. Do you know what a privilege it is to actually age? Do you know what a privilege it is to get older every single day? Mind blown. Mind blown. Don't get me started on Ozempic, because I'll be completely honest with you, I've dabbled in it. Let me tell you about my personal story with Ozempic and semaglutide. This dates back to 2023, right? It's such a funny but traumatic story. Let's get into the juicy part of the episode, the confessions part. And this week, the confession is my very own. I am on the chopping block. I need to step forward. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I will hold my hand up and I will confess. I will share with you my confession. And my confession is about my Ozempic use. I have fallen victim. I have fallen victim. The girl who's been preaching about self-worth and self-concept and don't fall for it. I have fallen for it. I have tried Ozempic and I have tried semaglutide. Let's get into it and let me tell you how I almost died. This dates back to 2023. And I'm laughing saying all of this because I'm basically confessing, because none of my family know I actually tried this, right? So this dates back to 2023. Me and my friends were like, you know what? Let's try semaglutide. Let's try this new weight loss drug that's going around the market. Mind you, this is a drug for diabetics. Mind you, this is a drug for people with diabetes. I'm not diabetic. I can't go to the doctors and go to the NHS and say, prescribe me Ozempic, prescribe me semaglutide, because I don't qualify for it. A, I'm not morbidly obese. B, I'm not diabetic, so I can't get this. So what did we do? We went to this deep back alley dodgy seller who has it, who is selling them for like £200 a pop. And we decided, yes, there, I want some of that. Let's try it. Thinking back now, is it ridiculous? Yes. Will I do it again? Probably, because I'm stupid like that. But this is back in 23. We don't know nothing about this seller. We know nothing about what he does, where he's from. He's from England somewhere. And I won't reveal any identities because I'm not trying to get a defamation lawsuit. Thank you very much. Okay, I don't want a cease and desist. I don't even know whether we do that here in England. I don't know whether that's a thing where you can give somebody cease and desist, but we're going to keep it cute. Anyway, so this individual supplies us with this back alley, creepy, non-regulated semaglutide. It's not even Ozempic. So semaglutide is the actual, like, it's like the vial of, like, I don't know, insulin ingredient, and then the needle. So we're like, yes, we got it. We're skinny. And I'm like, oh, this is something that, you shoot up every single week. So I'm like to my friend, okay, well, I'm going to come to your house every single week. It'll be cute. We'll shoot up, we'll do drugs, and then I'll go home. It goes downhill from here. It made me so violently ill, I thought I was going to die. And I'm skipping ahead telling you how violently ill I got, but let me rein it in a little bit. So the semaglutide arrives. All three of us, we've got semaglutide. and we're so excited. So this is our way of thinking. This is how stupid we are. We're thinking to ourselves, since this is going to repress our appetite, since it's going to literally kill off our appetite, let's feast beforehand, let's pig out, and then let's shoot up on drugs. That's going to make us skinny. Who thinks like that? Who actually thinks like that? And that's exactly what we did. So we'd order KFC, we'd order Popeyes, we'd order all kinds of deep fried shit that we know we're not going to have the appetite for once we've shot ourselves up with drugs. And we ate, and I'm full. I am bursting. Literally will pop if I eat one more thing. Then it's time to stab myself in the stomach with this needle. I'm terrified. My friend mixes it up for me. I then get my fat belly out and shoot up in the kitchen, right? I stab myself, syringe, done. Within 15 minutes, I start to feel nauseous. But then I basically said to myself, oh, it might just be that I feel that, I'm in my head about it. It's a placebo effect. I knew that nausea was going to be a thing, but boy, did I not know that nausea was going to literally write me off. Within 15 minutes, I feel nauseous. I am sick. I feel like I'm dying. I can't drink. I immediately have an aversion to everything. I'm sensitive to smell. I'm sensitive to tasting. I've got cravings, but I can't eat anything because I can't keep anything down. So I order my Uber and I go home because I'm like, guys, I'm dying. I'm on my way out, but at least I'm going to die looking skinny. So I'm going to go home and die peacefully in bed. I get home. My sense of smell is insane. I am like a bloodhound. I can smell everything. It's ridiculous. I go home, and as soon as you walk into my house, you have like this little, it's like a Febreze thing that you plug into the wall. It's so strong. It's setting my nose off. It's setting my stomach off, and I immediately projectile vomit because the sense of smell is so strong. I can smell stinky feet. I can smell smelly, sweaty feet. I can smell dirty shoes. I am like a crazy pregnant woman whose senses are like in overdrive. Mind you, nobody knows that I'm shooting up on drugs, right? Nobody knows that I'm doing this. It's a secret. Because if I told anybody, they would kill me because I'm getting this unregulated in a back alley from somewhere, from someone who's completely dodgy and we know nothing about. So rightfully so, I'm not telling anybody. If I'm going to die, I might die. I might as well die skinny, but I'm not going to tell anyone this is what I'm doing. So I then just go to bed and say, listen, I'm not feeling well. I need to go to bed. I need to sleep it off. I then proceed to projectile vomit every single week because my symptoms are getting worse and worse. Did I lose a lot of weight? Yes. I reached my goal, I think, but at what cost? At what cost did I reach my weight goal? At what cost? There was literally nothing left of me. Every day and every night, all I can eat is like ice cubes, like crushed ice drizzled in lime with a little bit of salt because I'm craving salt, I'm craving ice, I'm craving food, but I'm not craving food in the sense of I want to eat. Like the idea of food sounds appetizing, but at the same time, I have two very conflicting thoughts, right? The idea of food sounds really appetizing, but at the same time, it's knocking me sick and I feel like I want to die if I think of eating. And I couldn't eat. I'd eat strawberries and I'd vomit it out straight away. I'd have half a glass of water, I'd vomit it out straight away. My family thought I was dying and my family thought I was pregnant because I'm having weird cravings, right? The only thing I could eat was sunflower seeds. So I could keep sunflower seeds down, but I couldn't eat strawberries. I couldn't eat yogurt. I couldn't eat anything. Nothing was staying down. And my sense of smell was so strong. I could like suss out something straight away. Smelly feet, yes. Stinky feet, yes. Sweaty feet, yes. Stinky shoes, or what's been cooked ages ago that the smell should have been gone but it's still lingering in the air and my nose has picked up on it. I could literally sense it immediately, and they all said to me, are you fucking pregnant? Because you're moving like you're pregnant. And mind you, every time I eat something, it would projectile out of me again. It was not cute. Did I stop shooting up though? No. Every week, like clockwork. So like I'd be violently ill for about 5 days. On day number 6, I'd feel so much better and I'd be like eating little bits and bobs. Day number 7, I'd go back to my friend's house. We'd order takeaway. We'd have pizza, burgers, chips, everything. And then I'd shoot up. But this time I figured out that as soon as I inject myself, I get violently ill. So I need to inject myself, order my Uber and leave. I can't hang around. So we'd binge watch TV kiki and laugh until it's like late at night, then shoot up and then leave. And I did that for about 4 weeks until I got so ill that I couldn't get out of bed for a whole week. A whole week, right? I was unable to move. I was unable to move from side to side. So if I fell asleep on my right side, I would stay on my right side until I was ready to like get out of bed, which hardly ever happened because I was so fatigued. I was so ill because, mind you, for 4 weeks, I've been eating nothing but ice, crushed ice and sunflower seeds. Was I skinny though? Yes. Did I reach my dream goal weight? Yeah. I was skinny and hot and I was so happy, but I was so ill that I couldn't continue. So my friend finished the dose off for me. I said, listen, finish it off. I don't care for it. I'm literally dying. I think if I shoot up one more time, I'm going to have to go to the hospital because I will die. I will be dead. DEAD, dead. And we're not doing that. I'm not dying to be skinny, okay? I'm dying to be skinny, but I'm not going to die just to be skinny. Let's get that straight. So that's that. Hadn't done it for weeks. Months would go by. Months and months and months go by. Then we decide to do it again. Why, I don't know. Because I think we all put the weight back on ever so slightly. I think my relationship with food has changed at that point. Don't get me wrong. I think I no longer was eating the way I was eating because I've seen how good I looked when I was skinny. So my relationship with food had changed. I started to eat less. I was more conscious with what I was eating. But naturally, the weight does come back on because Ozempic isn't like a permanent solution. It's a quick fix. It doesn't fix what it needs to fix. It just puts a band-aid over it, right? And that's obviously not good. It's not the desired result. That's not what you want. Months go by. We're like, shall we do Ozempic again? But this time, instead of doing semaglutide, let's do the actual Ozempic pens. And these are apparently are less harsh on you. Lies. Lies, lies, lies. And when did we do Ozempic? I think Ozempic was this year because it was my birthday in June and I wanted to be as skinny as possible in June. So I think we started doing it maybe in May. We bought it for May. I did it leading up to June, then I had to wean myself off it for my birthday so I wasn't nauseous and sick and dying. And then I just never went back onto it again because I physically couldn't do it. I would be in work, in the office, dying at my desk, gagging, feeling like I'm going to be sick because I was on Ozempic. And it was less dramatic than it was with semaglutide, I'll be honest with you, because I don't think I went up in doses as drastic as I did with the Ozempic. I was really cautious. I went up like very small doses, but I still was as violently sick. I was still dying. I was still vomiting. It was not a good look. It was not a good look for me. And again, everybody was like, are you pregnant? Oh, what's going on? Why are you feeling the way you're feeling? What's going on? What are you hiding? And I was like, I'm not hiding anything. But this time around, I told my sisters about it. I said, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm shooting up on drugs. You're going to have to look out for me. If I one day die, you know why. You know why I'm dead. And again, we bought it from this back alley creepy person who literally doesn't have a license to sell any of this, who actually currently has a court case because he's killed someone. Who has a court case because he's killed someone. I think he gave somebody like bum shots. I think you're going to be able to deduce who I'm talking about from this video, but he gave somebody bum shots and that person has died. Back alley bomb shots, and that person is now dead. So he's currently in court for manslaughter or murder. I don't know which one it is, but he's a murderer, he's a killer, and I could have died. But the moral of the story is that I too have fallen victim for it. I too want a quick fix. I too feel like I needed to be thin quick because that's in trend again. And at what cost? I got severely ill, almost went to the hospital. For what? Just to be skinny? It is ridiculous. I don't understand the reason why we'd ever do that. And I feel like we all need to just take a stand and realise that your self-worth doesn't come from the way you look. Your self-concept shouldn't come from the way you look and shouldn't come from what people have told you, right? Your self-worth should be how you feel about yourself, what you're happy with. It shouldn't be tied to what somebody can provide for you. It shouldn't be tied to your beauty. It shouldn't be tied to whether you're married or not. It shouldn't be tied to financial stability or independence. It should be tied to you. Your self-worth is you. It's not codependent on anything or anyone. So here is where I am now, and here is where I feel like every other woman should be. You need to love yourself for yourself, right? You need to know that your self-worth is you, and it's tied to you, and it's not tied to anything else. It's not dependent or hinged on anybody else. The relationship that we have with media needs to change. We don't need to take everything as gospel, right? When we see these media covers, when we see these trends, when we see magazine covers or like social media posts, we don't need to take these and internalize them and make ourselves feel like we need to change who we are. And we need to build our self-concept back up from the ground up. We need to realize that our self-concept and how we view ourselves and how we want others to view us needs to come from us. It doesn't need to be something that we were spoon-fed from a very young age. It's something that we can create. Our narrative is our own to create. Our narrative is our own to share and is our own to build. To every woman listening, your weight is not your worth. Your brand isn't decided by other people. You are who you are. You're loved for who you are, and you need to accept yourself for who you are. Period. And on that note, I will see you fuckers next Monday. Bye.